HSV Pioneer wasn't supposed to be there. Its sensors had failed to detect a gravitational anomaly inside the Lyra X7 nebula, a region the Galactic Council had long dismissed as inert stardust and residual radiation. But humans, as always, had insisted on just taking a look, even after 15 years of bureaucratic warnings. Do not venture beyond mapped borders without prior authorization from the Intersystemic Exploration Committee. Of course, that was before the expulsion. Now, in the full wake of humanity's exile, such rules carried the weight of a yawn in vacuum. "We're inside the anomaly," Lieutenant Anya Rostova, the Pioneer's navigation chief, announced, her voice tense despite the soft red glow of emergency lights. "I can't stabilize the warp containment fields. We're being pulled towards something dense." Commander Elias Trent, a veteran of 3 deep range missions and former navigator of the Terran fleet, gripped the controls with steady hands, though his heart hammered against his ribs. "Keep shields active. If this is a natural wormhole, it could shred the ship before we even notice." But it wasn't a natural wormhole. As the Pioneer crossed the anomaly's edge, it slid smoothly into a stable pocket of spacetime, bathed in a soft, pulsing purple light. The stars vanished. In their place, structures, living structures. "My God," whispered Dr. Kenji Mori, the ship's xenobiologist, pressed against the observation window. Before them floated cities not built but grown. Spiral skyscrapers of crystalline material, interwoven with pulsing biological tissue, connected by luminous bridges that resembled floating roots. The entire scene pulsed with an energy that defied known physics. This isn't possible," Anya murmured. "At least not according to the Council," Trent replied with a trace of bitter sarcasm. "But the Council also said Rim was uninhabitable, and look at us now." The ship was soon surrounded by sleek, organic-looking vessels with scale-like hulls that rippled like living skin. No weapons, no threats, only curiosity. Then a voice echoed through the Pioneer's comms, not over radio, but directly into the ship's neural network, bypassing every firewall without a trace. "You are the builders. Identify yourself," Trent responded, calm despite the tension in his jaw. "We are the Nethys, and you think quickly." The crew was invited to disembark, an enormous risk but almost inevitable. After all, this was the first truly advanced civilization found beyond Council borders. And humans, above all else, were curious. The city was called Vailthar, and it floated at the heart of a stable wormhole, held in place by an energy field generated by a reactor that seemed to breathe. The Nethys were tall and slender, with silver skin that shimmered in violet hues. Their eyes were large, black, and pupilless, but deeply expressive. They moved with a liquid grace, as if time flowed slower around them. A young scientist named Lyra guided them through corridors that reshaped themselves as they walked. The walls responded to thought, or so it seemed. "You don't use control panels," Kenji observed, fascinated. "Our homes know us," Lyra replied softly. "Why speak when we can feel?" She led them to the Council of Observers, a group of elders who had monitored humanity since the first Terran ships appeared in the Rim. "You build quickly," said their leader, an ancient Nethys named Kalen. "In 3 months you raised 20 orbital stations. In 6, you colonized worlds it would have taken us centuries to tame. You don't wait. You do. It's just how we are," Trent said. "If we see a problem, we try to solve it. If we see something that can be improved, we improve it." "That is the danger," Kalen interrupted. "You disrespect the rhythms of time. The universe has its pace, you run against it." But Lyra disagreed. "You speak like the Council," she said, her voice firm. "They feared humans for being fast, but speed isn't chaos. It can be clarity." A murmur rippled through the chamber. Kalen studied her with disapproval and curiosity. "What do you propose, child?" She turned to the humans. "There is a sickness among us. We call it the silent shadow. It erodes the neural connection between generations. Our young are born less able to feel the city. In a few generations, Vailthar will die, because no one will know how to keep it alive." She paused. "You fix what is broken." You reinvent the impossible, so I propose a test of intent. What test? Trent asked. We will give you the secret of our consciousness crystals, Lyra said. With them, you could replicate our technology, dominate the Rim, or even sell it to the Council. But in return, we demand you develop a cure for the Silent Shadow, a remedy that preserves not just life but the collective memory of our people. Silence fell. If you accept, you prove your speed serves to save, not to conquer, Lyra concluded. Trent glanced at his team. Kenji nodded eagerly. Anya, more skeptical, offered no objection. We accept, Trent said, but be warned, we don't think in cures like you do. We'll try things extreme. Lyra smiled for the first time. Good. The universe favors extremes. For days, the humans worked in the Pioneer's lab, now docked at the heart of Veilthar. With access to the Nethys consciousness crystals, structures that stored not just memories but patterns of existence, Kenji and his team labored without sleep. The Silent Shadow wasn't viral. It wasn't genetic. It was a failure in the quantum resonance of collective consciousness. The Nethys had evolved in symbiosis with their cities, but isolation in the Rim, combined with cosmic mineral scarcity, had broken that harmony. We need a neural coherence catalyst, Kenji said, something that reinforces the link between individual and collective. But humans didn't have that technology. What they had was something better, the ability to combine impossible ideas. Kenji proposed merging the Pioneer's adaptive AI, a system the Council had banned for being uncontrollable, with the Nethys crystals. The AI wouldn't replace collective memory. It would teach young minds how to reconnect to it. You want to implant a machine into our children's brains? Kalen asked, horrified. No, Trent corrected. We want the machine to serve as a bridge only until the brain learns to cross on its own. Then it deactivates. Lyra volunteered to test it herself. For 72 hours, she lay in a resonance chamber linked to the AI and the oldest crystals. When she awoke, her eyes shone with new intensity. It worked, she whispered. I feel all of them. My ancestors, the builders of Veilthar, even those who died before I was born. The council was divided. Some saw miracle, others blasphemy. But proof came when, for the first time in 40 years, a Nethys child was born who could feel the city without aid. As the pioneer prepared to leave Veilthar, it carried something more precious than technology, trust. Lyra accompanied them to the nebula's edge. You're not like the others, she told Trent. You don't take. You build with. It's just that, alone, no one builds the future, he replied. Back at Kepler Command, Trent reported everything to Admiral Rivera. The old admiral listened in silence, his eyes distant. So they're not afraid of us, he finally said. No, Trent answered. They have hope. Rivera smiled. Tell Captain Walsh to prepare a formal diplomatic mission, and tell the Nethys the Rim won't be an exile anymore. It will be a shared home. Years later, when the human Confederacy became a galactic power, no official history books mentioned the HSV Pioneer. But among the Nethys, the names of Trent and Lyra were whispered like those of heroes who dared to trust before they feared. And when, in a new Galactic Council chamber, Ambassador Lyra rose to speak, all fell silent. Humanity doesn't build empires, she said. They build doors, and they let anyone who wishes to walk through them walk. Across the chamber, the aged Admiral Rivera simply smiled, because he knew true power isn't in domination. It's in inspiration. The galaxy had expelled humanity for being too fast, too bold, too unpredictable. But in the silence of a breathing city inside a wormhole, two civilizations had chosen something far more revolutionary: faith in each other. And from that faith, an empire, not of steel and conquest but of shared curiosity and mutual survival, was quietly born. Hit like and subscribe to the channel.